Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is March 1st, 2022, and we are about to bring a brand new show to you. But first, we're going to show a little love to a dear friend. And this will be the last time the original Ragin ABC intro will be streamed live. And here we go.
Ragin.
My name is Creating Chaos 24/7. I am was partner with the original Ragin ABC with Meredith Lage, which is going to birth us into where we are going tonight. But first, I want to read one of the last paragraphs Meredith ever wrote me in a letter. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm shaking. Okay. We are all on this exciting journey, and who knows what will come of it. So I cherish the now, and I'm compelled to be better and push harder towards something. It's that combined feeling of being comfortable and standing on the edge of a cliff ready to fly. That, ladies and gentlemen, was one of the last conversations we had through mail, and that was talking about the birth of a network. Which that network was legitimized today. We are now the official owners of Ragin 2 services and promotions, as well as the Ragin 2 broadcast network. And so without further ado, I shall really introduce myself. My name is Nita Lanning, and I am CEO and owner of Ragin 2 services and promotions, as well as executive producer of the Ragin 2 broadcast network. A month ago, we unexpectedly lost one of our biggest cheerleaders within the indie industry. The hole left behind is vast and hollow and is felt by all who knew her. Here at Ragin 2, we remember her legacy and commit to bringing support and education to all our fellow creators. As we move forward, the heart of Meredith Lage will forever be a part of what we do. Like she said in her note, we're just going to keep pushing forward to something. Because wherever we're moving for, it's not back there. We've been there. So we're just going to keep on rolling. One of the last songs Meredith ever sang to me was Closing Time in a Drunken StreamYard. And one of the lines that she kind of got stuck on and repeated a few times was, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And with that, we move forward with her, knowing that it could have never been done without her. And after this outro, you'll get to see our brand new show, Dispatches from Outside the Box.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin 2 The Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding? With the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
In the spaces, things exist. In the lines that form the network of your mind. Behind the retinas of imagination are the particles and peripherals that made you who you are. Turn off, shut your eyes, and listen to dispatches from outside the box.
I'm going to unmute myself because that would really work well for a online pod or blog spot, whatever this is. Welcome to Dispatches from Outside the Box, the show where we examine every aspect of what makes you who you are. I'm independent artist and magical C Michael Lanning, and I will be your friendly internet dispatcher, Dispatcher C, as we journey through the geek beyond. And so we don't do this alone. I brought a few friends with me, and let's talk to our hosts and companions on this journey. Mr. Stone, Journey of the Shadow Abdullah, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, man.
Well, I'm just going to bring out my radio voice for no good reason. no reason. I am Stone Abdullah, like my man C Michael Lanning just said. I am indeed sci-fi author of the book series Journey of the Shadow. My friends, I've been writing for about 20-something odd years. I'm a late bloomer to comics, so that was like 3 years ago. And I spent some 17 years in academia and research, so I'm that, halfway, I don't know, Neil deGrasse Tyson guy. And I should mention, there's literally no such thing as Mercury retrograde. I'm just putting that out there. It doesn't exist. We'll get more into it later in the show.
You're kind of that in between geek and the nerd kind of spectrum.
Yeah, just
that definition kind of blurs.
A nice happy space, happy accidents.
All right, our other companion on this journey is the ever great Randy Zimmerman.
Ever great.
Randy.
Ever great. There we are.
Don't be modest. Yeah. Don't be modest.
Hey, everybody. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I've been doing alternative and independent comics for many decades. Started with Arrow Comics. Actually started with Just Imagine Comics and Stories out of Chicago. Then Arrow Comics. Then a number of other independent brands. I've been doing anything that I can in comics for many years. Absolutely love this art form. For 10 years, I did I got fed up with the direct market and did a comics and entertainment newspaper that we circulated around our area. Actually got a 10,000 print run for 100 issues. So there's 1 million copies of Flint comics out there floating around that I have put together and helped distribute or distributed on my own. Other than that, I'm currently just doing comics commercially and as a graphic artist and for whoever, and just, getting back up on my feet after a little hiatus here with wonderful COVID and a respirator. So happy to be here. Happy to be alive.
Happy to have you. All right.
Happy to have you, brother.
And we have a couple of special guests, some people that have been in the business for a while and know their stuff. Let's start with Mr. JD Calderon. How you doing, Mr. JD?
I'm okay. I'm good. Not so special, but been in the business about 1 decade less than Randy there. So been around for a minute.
Which has been a long time. Yes.
Exactly. Yep. Writer, the creator of the Oswald Chronicles and Tall Tales, and various other things. So online podcasts and that sort of thing. Just having fun.
All right, and of course, Mr. Luke Stone. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me on tonight, guys. First off, and second, my name's Luke Stone. Fell in love with comics when I was 5 years old. The Hulk was, in my opinion, the greatest superhero that ever lived, and I was so excited about it. Started messing around with comics as a teenager, trying to make them. I remember going to the comic shop and buying Arrow comics off the shelf back in the day and seeing Randy's name on there.
Yeah, thanks for that, young man.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you. So really dating Randy on that one.
Actually, that just shows you had an awesome retailer that actually shelved independent comics.
I did, man. They were
good
great.
For them. Good
and
for them.
Man, it opened up my whole world to make to think that I didn't have to go after one of the big two in order to be able to make comics.
Yeah.
Right. And so that really inspired me. So really, to be honest with you, about 2015 is when I started really taking the comics game serious, and I started publishing under my own brands at that time. Started creating my own IPs, and been doing it ever since, man. And it's like a drug; you just can't get enough.
Absolutely.
Like Jack the King Kirby says, comics will break your heart, kid.
Yeah, they do that.
They do that, don't they?
Well, say
good to have you on here, brother.
Squad goals.
Thanks.
Good evening, George. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for joining.
Got George in the house. What's
All
up?
right,
What?
So this is the first episode, And what happens on first episodes? It's pilot, so you never know. The Cosby Show started with 4 kids, ended up with 5. I've got 4 kids. I don't want a 5th one, so we're gonna keep it this way.
Are you sure, Michael? Are you sure?
Yes.
All right.
Hey, even somebody else might be playing Randy next week.
Hey, I'm Randy.
Zim might
I'm
look
Randy
different.
all the
You
time.
never know.
Yeah.
But
That's what she said.
Why would anybody play me? Oh, wait a minute. I've been played enough. Thank you very much.
Hey yo.
Hey,
Hey yo.
the purpose of this show is we're going to collect and talk about things. There's comics, there's movies, TV shows, and we can focus on 1 or 2 of those things, and we will eventually, one here and there. But the main focus of this show is to talk about all those aspects that made us who we are. We've got board games, card games, we've got TV commercials, we've got Saturday morning cartoons. We got a whole bunch of stuff that makes us who we are. And as you can see, the title of this episode is The Origin of Ideas. Now, what you've constantly heard people ask, or I can't remember which author was asked one time, where did you get your ideas from? He said, you climb up to a cliff, there's an old man there with the light and crow, and you offer some money to him to get, to give you these ideas that he has in this big leather-bound book. Probably. So I was like, well, I hear what you're saying. Basically, they don't know where ideas come from; they just come, and that's true. But I think we could pretty much say that we can look at the way things are, and we can trace where we get some of our ideas from. What you think?
Well, we can, more or less, absolutely. Absolutely. Inspiration comes from it. There's a kindling somewhere. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And like my man Luke Stone just identified. You know what I mean? It's started from, like when he was a young man. And I think it's great that we have an opportunity to explicate upon the origins of our inspirations. If we lose that, then we lose one of our essential functions of being human. You know what I mean? Because we're built to create. I'm not going to get preachy. Warning to the kids at home, I get a little preachy, all right? But it's just
shine a light on it, brother.
Just like, hey, can I get a amen? Amen. But we have to reintroduce those attributes, you know what I mean, that made us who we are. And that's what brought us here today, you know what I mean, as creatives. And there's a fire inside of each of us that's not going away anytime soon. I'll tell you that much for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have to continually spark those ideas, those things. So, JD, what sparks your idea-making machine, man? What helps you to come up and cultivate new ideas?
I will reveal some of the best places to steal from right now.
All right.
Okay. Boom. All right. Mic drop. Here it is. Here it is.
Let's go for it. All right. Actually, what's funny, I was watching a movie today, The Sword and the Sorcerer, right? The reason I'm watching it is because I'm writing a short story for an anthology that's based on the film. So I'm writing a short story on it. I was watching it, and it'd been a while. I watched this movie in the theater when I was a kid. Again, being old. But there's the main antagonist, Cromwell, the king, right? I watched it and I was like, wow, the name Cromwell is one of my characters in Tall Tales, right? So I stole the name from there and I gave it to one of my characters. But the character, who he is at his core, is another character in my series, the Earl Hadge. And it's funny realizing that watching it, because I watched it, I was like, oh, I based that character on this guy. Yeah. And it's what's funny is when I first created the character, I probably wasn't thinking that. But
you're on autopilot, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's like anything else. I try to consume as much fantasy, fiction, whatever, whether it be reading books, comics, whatever. It's all grist for the mill. It goes in and it comes out, right? And you never know where it's going to come out or how it's going to come out. But I watched this character and I was like, wow, this is this character in attitude. You understand? It's not exactly him, but it's in attitude, in his style. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. So that's that. And I just saw that this morning by watching this movie. So yes. So if you want a good place to steal from, Sword and the Sorcerer, guys, go for it.
There it is. That's a, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Sword and the Sorcerer.
And so that first kind of happens subliminally, and then you kind of realize, hey, that's where it came from. Absolutely. How about you, Luke? What's that?
All right. So if ever I need inspiration, I just go back and I talk to 14-year-old Luke. See, at 14, I was in that comic shop looking at these comic books. That's where I was introduced to Arrow Comics, Malibu Comics, Silverline Comics at the time. But my favorite comic of all time during that time was Chris Claremont's era X-Men. I loved it. And I would read the next comic, and then the comic shop also had role-playing games, D&D and stuff like that. And it got in my head, this little bug, that, man, I wanted to create this whole world like the X-Men, and I wanted to have a role-playing game to go with it, which, by the way, I do now, which is awesome. But I go back to that time, and I remember where that path led, and if I need inspiration, I go back, I talk to that guy. But I remember some of my biggest form of ideas came when I started doing a Supers role-playing game. Have you guys ever heard of GURPS, General Universal Role-Playing System?
Yeah.
Love it, right? Well, we played this Supers version, and I would make character after character after character, fell in love with making these characters, and we would play them. And now I look back on what I'm doing now, and some of those characters were characters that I had made, or they're derivatives of characters I had made. And I realized that, man, there's a lot of inspiration in that. So if I need a good idea, I go talk to 14-year-old Luke and ask him what he would do. And he usually says, well, I would read a comic book or I'd go play a game. And that's what I do. So at 41, almost 42 years old, I read comic books and I go play games. And I allow those things to speak to me so that I can have fresh ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
All right, Mr. Randy. How about yourself, sir?
It all depends upon the project or what I'm doing at the time. It's hard to nail down because it comes from a lot of different places. When I need a problem, if I have a problem while I'm writing, I go to bed with the problem and wake up with the solution.
Yeah,
that's I've got written a lot of books that way. There's no real one place, but a lot of it goes back, like Luke said, back to your childhood and to what your early influences are and what you thought was good. And I like writing comics that I want to read. That's the big thing. So, it comes from a lot of different places.
Yeah, it's really hard to pin down. And again, just like
It
you
is.
said, sometimes you don't even realize until you go back and you see it somewhere else. So
yeah,
Sword and the Sorcerer.
Yeah. How about yourself, Stone?
Me, man. I'll be brief, Michael. It's I'm going to piggyback off of what Luke and Zim said. It goes back to your childhood, man. When you're young and you're impressionable and you see the world and you start taking in ideas. And for myself, I was just absolutely blown away. I was homeschooled by my parents, God rest both their souls. And Mom read this one book to me, and it blew me away that we had thunderstorms. Something as common as a thunderstorm that revolves around the earth. And then I was just like, well, why does it happen? You're asking why. Then sparked my scientific interest in physical sciences. And then it blossomed from there, et cetera. So it was that 2 or 3 years old, that 2 or 3 year old Stone that saw for the first time how big the world actually was. It was bigger than the cartoons I would watch, or it was bigger than, because we didn't have a whole lot of comics at the time, but we did have our our TV shows, Ronin Warriors, Thundercats. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. And it's you always reflect to those younger days of where did you derive inspiration from. So now, like, I'm primarily science fiction. And so when I did like my whole academic career and research and stuff, it never stopped. The more I learned, the more stuff, I don't care how difficult it was, I was just like, man, this is just freaking cool. This is sci-fi. I'm like, this is the boring stuff right here. You know what I mean? Star Trek Next Generation type stuff. And the more you walk through life, the more you never stop learning, because that kid is still with you. You don't leave them. Don't abandon them is the moral of this speech here. Don't abandon them. That creativity will come at you from places that you will not perceive, and it's fantastic. Keep feeding it, keep nurturing it. But I'll say I agree. Zim, Luke, and JD Calderon. I would say one movie in particular, my friend. What was it? The Never-Ending Story. The part with art. Was it Artax?
Wow.
Yeah. He was just
that's
like,
right. Bring the whole thing down. That's right.
I was just like, man, I cried like a baby. I was just like, Artax, no Artax. And so I have that on like a 3-hour loop. So if I just want to cry in the shower, I'll just, put that on and go cry in the shower.
I cry in the shower all the time, but not for that reason.
That's how you hide the tears, Stone.
Let's go cry together, Luke, and make it a clubhouse.
Yeah, I could use some company.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Stone, I gotta say, man, good on you that you went out there and learned actually how to make lightning. Because I saw lightning and they told me Thor, and I was like, "Yep, that's it." So I didn't have to go any further than that.
There you go.
I was like, what the fuck is lightning, bro? And we still don't really know why we get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's just the natural world is host to a lot of
our wonderful electrical and magnetic universe.
Absolutely, my
Yes.
friend.
And I think
Absolutely.
it was John Denver that said that nature and everything was kind of the first catalyst to inspire people, to inspire ideas, to inspire story writing and everything.
Did you say John Denver?
I think I did. Yep.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, mountain. Okay.
Listen to what he
Oh,
thinks. I
mama.
don't, but you can.
Kids, you'd be amazed where you find inspiration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You'd be amazed.
I got a
West
John,
Virginia.
John Denver has really got a bad shake over the years, but anyway.
no,
Yeah,
but you know what?
I
God
agree,
bless
Jim.
John Denver. Even though he's
God
gone,
bless him.
The man did stay there between D. Snyder and everything and fought against the Gores. Anyway, hey, I've got
Michael.
I got a quote
Just
here from
saying.
Neil Gaiman. Hey, now Neil actually has a whole blog about this, but I kind of
Who's this guy?
Neil Gaiman.
Who is that?
Who's that guy?
Who's the-
I never heard that guy.
Literally never heard of this guy. Something. Man, it'll come to me after the show. Yeah.
Special man too. I don't. He's got all this.
I think I saw a commencement speech that he did one time, and it just came down to the simple phrase, "Go do good art."
Do good
There you
art.
go. I mean,
Just
look,
do it.
well, that probably inspired a whole bunch of ideas out there. Some of them positive, some of them negative. So.
Get ideas from being bored. You get ideas all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. my
Strange
friend.
places, yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been why you liked Never-Ending Story, huh? That bored part?
Buddy. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah. I saw that. I appreciate that, Zim. See, because it's like he said, the only difference between writers and other people is writers notice when we're doing it.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's so true. I'm like,
It's like this
dang,
mind
Neil.
mumbling that happens where you just kind of. He also goes on to talk about how, you start asking yourselves questions. What if this happened? Like, what if this stop sign started getting up and walking? What kind of adventures would this stop sign go?
What if?
And
Those big questions. Why?
That was
What
me.
if?
So copyright stop sign walking.
I'm already writing that story, so
no,
you just don't even worry about that. So I already got that one covered.
Too late. Calderon got it.
That's it.
I call the next one.
And of course, so there's certain different questions he asks. Like what if such and such happens, and that could go in your day-to-day life. That could go in with your movies, things like that. Well, what if the Rocketeer decided to become a bad guy, and then how would that ensue? He was a Nazi instead of a American patriot. That kind of thing. I mean, they've done it. I mean, look at Red Sun and Superman and everything. So,
well, the thing didn't the Rocketeer steal his backpack?
I cannot remember.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie.
He stumbled across it.
He stumbled across it.
It was a government experiment, if I'm not mistaken, by a scientist.
That's right, Tim.
Found it in the back of a car, wasn't it?
Yep.
Gotcha. But he didn't return it though.
Right. So that's theft of federal property.
A lot different from Ironheart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's different.
Yeah, it's different.
Oh my God! I never even put that together. Jeez. Wow. See?
Oh, see, enlightenment. See, that's the reason why
Marvel,
we do
the
these
House of
shows.
Ideas. Yeah.
Of others' ideas. I got
That's
you.
why if you
Right.
go back and you look at Marvel, I think it was called Marvel Preview, Black and White magazine had the first black and white Punisher story in it. They have a big interview in there with Mac Bolan, who created the Executioner. Because the Punisher is the Executioner, only in a suit, you know,
Yeah.
superhero outfit. Same
Glad you heard
origin,
from the
same
historian.
everything. Well, same origin.
Which is
back then.
probably why Marvel freaks out about people sending unsolicited ideas. Because they're known for, they had a history of slightly ripping things off, I guess.
They don't
Like
even look.
Microsoft.
Yeah, they don't even look at stuff submitted anymore. You have to be invited.
Yeah. Well, Microsoft doesn't slightly rip things off. They completely take it and just
They
stick their own
completely
label on
take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another way to get ideas. You rip them
Bill
off from
Gates.
somebody.
Just take somebody else's idea.
Just take somebody else's idea. It's fine. Just
What you
snatch
do,
it.
Yeah,
what
but
you do is you
seriously-
offer to copyright their idea for them,
There you go.
and then you put your name on it,
Yeah.
and then fire them, and then make a really crappy product.
You go back on any comic book character, you can find their origins in other places.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Superman, for example, as a combination of Doc Savage and what was the guys? They a couple of other pulp stories that had come out at the day that Siegel and Schuster just kind of blended together into Superman.
Yeah.
Mushed them together. Yeah.
Doc Savage was always known as the Man of Bronze, so
You know, I
Superman's
think
the Man of
Man
Steel.
Steel. Yeah.
I think one of the things that we have to, I think has been true for a long time, is that there's no really new ideas out there, but there's new ways to do things.
Yeah.
Like I've got a character that, I knew I wanted one of those kind of cliche triple characters, that they break off into three or whatever. And so I've got a character that he's kind of a, I just kind of came up with him. But I, as I'm writing him, I think it's something interesting. What if he only refers to himself in the third person? So it's like, well, that'd be kind of funny, wouldn't it? And then as I'm doing that, I'm like, well, what if he really is three people? Instead of like one person that splits into three, he's three people that actually merged into one.
Into one.
And so, so it's actually three brothers, three triplets that merge into one. So triple play is not a guy that breaks off into threes, but he's a three that merges into one. And so that's,
innovation is.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the triplicating character has been done before.
Yeah.
But not like that. So
it's what you do with it, and that's human creativity, and now we have to keep doing.
I did the typical white American thing, and I liked it, and I made it mine.
Wait, hold on. Let me find that disclaimer button.
This is nice. Yeah.
Oh, this
It's
is
like-
nice. Is
Yeah,
this
this
yours?
is nice. It's
No,
mine
this
now.
is mine now. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is mine now.
Like we show up in Hawaii. Wow, this is nice. It's
What?
mine now.
It's mine now. But we live here. Nope. It's
Nope.
mine.
It's mine now.
Mine now, bitch. That's right.
Yep.
Suck it.
Yeah, that's how I do things now.
Yeah. Luke, I'm gonna take that style. Did you see what I did there?
Do it. Do it, man. You
Well,
should.
Take it.
I didn't want to step
Count
on
it-
nobody's. I didn't want
Count
to
it as
step on
something
nobody's
I
toes.
owe you. Count it as something I owe you.
I didn't want to step on your toes, but I already got one of those characters too. So
yeah.
Oh.
My daughter, I did something, and my daughter goes, "Dad, that's cultural appropriation." I go, "No, that's my culture. I see things that other cultures do, and I like it, and I take it."
Where is that damn disclaimer button?
I like it and I take it.
Come on, that's funny.
Yeah, man. You the hell yeah.
That's funny.
That's why I love you guys. Damn it. And speaking of things that we're taking, I just want to shout out to the Russian bots in the chat that we've
Thank you.
we're trying to block them, but there's is that they just keep on coming back. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. What we need is a Ukrainian moderator.
Okay.
Because-
All right.
Because
keep going.
Here's what I've learned.
Come on, here.
In my
Idea.
entire life, I will never screw with a Ukrainian.
Nope.
Those people are tough. I'm like,
sausage
nah,
park, dude.
nah. You know, if I get ready to get in a fight, somebody's blowing up on me, and I'm like, where are you
Right.
from? They're like, I'm from Ukraine. I'm like, oh, screw it.
Listen, never mind. Have a,
We're
sir,
done right now.
Can I offer you some candy or maybe some? I don't
Yeah.
know. Here's my wallet. Have a nice day.
I'm on your side now.
And see, that's another thing that kind of
I'm with you,
cultivates
dude.
ideas is just looking at what's going on out in the world. How many
Yeah.
times have we seen
Real life,
that
man.
that conveyed in different medias and different forms? In fact, there's even one book that's been removed from a Tennessee curriculum that does that exactly. Even though that
Don't
one,
get Zim started.
Dude, there's some morons out there, ain't they?
And some.
You're always
freaking-
going to run into the educated. So
Yeah.
Well, I got these two
that just
characters I'm working on right now, and they're based on two of the therapists that I've had.
Ooh,
So one of
I
the
like
therapists
that.
is this big dude, right? Big dude,
Okay.
and the other guy is a little small guy, and they're always going back and forth to each other. They're always going back and forth to each other. One's a physical therapist, one's an occupational therapist, and one's always like, you know, how big and dumb he is, and the other one's how like little and puny he is, or whatever, and it's hilarious. And I'm like, man, that dynamic would be great for a team of like these two guys. Like you've got this big brick-like character, and you've got this little like speedster character. And I think it'd just be a lot of fun to have them. So I'm working on the designs and kind of some backstory. But the inspiration for these characters came from two people that kind of came across as almost cartoony with their behavior. I mean, I loved it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. You never know who you're going to run up on in life. You don't know. And so a lot of characters, you know, sure we'll say, well, you know, I read this, I played this video game, or I watched this movie. But my goodness, how many people have we come across that have these colorful personalities?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone could be a checkout clerk, someone that was stocking
Yeah.
groceries, somebody you passed, you know, you bumped into him when you were in the cereal aisle, and you might have had a conversation with them. That sticks with you. That's genuine stuff, you know.
Right.
And I always say this is that creativity is an abstractionism of reality.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. That's a big fat word up there, abstractionism. But you're always taking bits and pieces of elements of what you
Well,
experience in your life, and
I
that's
like
what
what you
makes
said
your
there,
story
Stone.
unique.
Like
Thank
we
you.
said there, I'm going to take it.
That's,
Come on now.
All right.
damn
I
it,
see where this is going. Good night,
Damn it.
everybody.
Penn and Teller.
There you go.
I mean, you know, like a little Penn and Teller-ish type of thing. But like Luke said, it's nothing particularly new under the sun. It's what you do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'd love that type of stuff. Creation,
just
innovation.
if you
Go ahead.
take the,
Mike.
sorry. If you take the three that JD already has and what Luke wants to write, I mean, if you put,
Yep.
they'll come up with two different stories, and you might not even realize that they're the same.
Right.
They're the same idea.
Right.
It's-
Yeah.
That's
just
the
how it
beauty. The beauty of creativity is that we've all experienced. You know, we have life experience unique to us. You know, there's a common denominator between experiences. You know, you went shopping, you went to the laundromat, blah blah blah. But then in life, you have unique imprints upon your experience.
Yeah.
I'd like to say.
Yeah.
And even though two people will watch the same thing, they'll have completely diametrically opposing, you know, influences about what they want to do with it. And that's fan-freaking-tastic to me, because I can't wait to see what you do with it, right? Imagine if all of us were one-dimensional, monochromatic. It was like, God, I just send me to Mars already. You know what I mean? Like, it has no oxygen, has a very, 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 very low oxygen count. But hey, send me there anyway, because I was like, I can't stand Earth. Not with this
So there you go.
monochromaticism.
You know,
no, bro.
There's that idea. What if? What if?
What if?
Yeah.
What if?
You know,
Okay.
I think that's why I like to collaborate with other writers on some of the stories I come up with, because you know sometimes, you know, I'm going to write. I'm a pretty good writer, so I can write from different perspectives. But like you said, JD and I could have the same kind of character concept and write it and end up in two different places because we both have different experiences, different cultural backgrounds. We live in different parts of the country. We have a unique perspective, and those unique perspectives are going to influence where we take a story or how we write a story, you know. And so I think it's important to, you know, to think of that way, but then to also collaborate with other people, because
Amen.
you know I've got a book we're working on called Juror 13, and I had read a book by this guy named Edward Davis called The Immortal Era, and I loved the way he developed those characters, and there was a bit of grittiness to it that I really enjoyed. And so I talked to him. I said, hey, I like what you're doing. I've got this concept. Would you like to collaborate on this story? And so I throw in my concept. I kind of give him the big, bold strokes of where I want to go. And then he just details that out. And it's fantastic. Yeah. And then
and
then I was going to draw it. But because I've slowed down and I can only work on like one title at a time post-COVID, I'm like, I talked to another artist. And I'm like, hey, can you draw this? And he started pumping out pages. And I'm like, man, he made choices kind of like what I would have made. But wow.
But totally different. Yeah.
Totally different.
But wow.
But that's it. But wow, yeah.
Dynamic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The comic team dynamic is definitely, that really showcases that thought really well, because you'll write something down and somebody will come up with something, and sometimes you might have some duds, but sometimes what the other person has might even be better than what you were picturing to begin with.
Yeah,
I want somebody to have a better idea, because that's great. Because I want to they see some additional value in this idea that I didn't before. Yeah. But then the ultimate goal is sharing it with other people. That's the gold platinum, right? That's the reason why we do it in the first place. If someone sees something better, say for example in Journey of the Shadow, I want you to do it. Go ahead, go for it, because I'm going to be like, wow, like Luke said. Oh, we're getting some. My man Michael, I'm going to shut up. There's some comments creeping in, and they're not from the Russian bots.
No, this is Ray. Ray, I know Ray.
Oh, so we got Ray in the house.
Yeah.
Let's hope that Ray is neither Russian nor an android.
No,
let's hope.
He's Russian. He's been hiding it very well for a long time.
As a creator, you have to realize no matter what you create, someone has done something similar. Yeah.
It's not just that, Ray, but the general consensus is that whenever you come up with an idea, 5 other people have come up with the exact same idea at the exact same time.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything all hinges on how you get that idea to the market.
Randy, you are absolutely right on that.
And that's all part of being an artist and part of doing art.
You know, in 2015,
is your interpretation on getting that idea to the market.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In 2015, when I put out the first issue of this hybrids book that I've been working on about these Nephilim and Greek gods and all that kind of stuff, I didn't see any other book out there that was like it. But as soon as it came out, everyone was like, man, I had that same idea. And I'm like, well, too bad. I published it first.
You took it. That's too bad.
It's like, too bad I published it first.
Beat you, haha.
Yeah, now there's a lot of books out there like that. But the cool thing is, there's other ideas out there like it, but there's so many other spins on it. I find them all entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all good. Well, not all of them. Some people can't write. But most of them I enjoy.
Those who can't write, keep going. Ray Owen says, I'm at a brick wall. All in all, it's just another brick in the wall. I'm at a brick wall, standstill right now. You guys caught that song reference. Writer's block. Sometimes we all need that back and forth, even just shake things up. Absolutely. I mean, JD, your thoughts on that? You know, you're collaborating with someone, but it's more than just collaboration. It's more than brainstorming. You're creating a new experience. I need your thoughts on that, my friend.
Whenever I work with someone, it's always a dictatorship. It's here's the script, get it done the way I want it. Don't even worry about it. Just follow what I say. Thank you.
Don't worry about it.
They do what they do. I get it back. It's never exactly what I want, but it's okay, because they're just wonderful. No.
You lay down the rules.
Yeah, no. In all seriousness, I mean, like, I've worked with Daphne. I've worked with her for many, many years. She's my wife, and she draws Tall Tales. I write the scripts. Listen, with her, I write the scripts. I hand them to her, and I back away, and I disappear. Yep. I'm leaving. She interprets them however she interprets them. I don't get to see them until they're fully lettered. I mean, I don't see layouts. I see nothing.
See nothing. Wow.
I just get and I was like, I get it.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then The only thing I'll do, and it infuriates the hell out of her, is I'll go through. She'll print them out. I'll go through them with a red pen, and I'll make my corrections. And then I hand it back to her.
I know that just makes her livid. I can see it.
Yeah,
With Daphne, my God, you survived.
But it has to be done, though. It's one of those things. It's like, look, the corrections is not like I'm dicking around here. So, and then but with my other artist, Jade Gonzalez, I've been working with her for about 12 years now, and we've gotten to a point where I can, on my two hands, I can count how many times I've had to ask her to make changes, in the stories or whatever. So she does an excellent job interpreting. But again, it's a thing of I'm not one of these writers where I say three-quarter worm's eye, side shot, dark and stormy night, shadows. I don't give like a lot of these directions. I'll say like, here's the dialogue. This is the scene. This is the mood of the scene, right? And I'll say and I allow the artist to interpret however they want to interpret it. I also don't say like 6 panels per page, 9 panels per page. No, I let them break it down however they want to do it. So if they want to insert a splash page, they can do that. If they want to do a double page spread, they can do that. I try to work with the artists so that they can express themselves as well.
I love it. Degrees of freedom, my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Degrees of freedom.
On your show Sunday night, when Arthur Bell was talking about that, and he made me feel horrible because he made the statement. The question that
I saw that show.
Yeah, the question that came up was who makes it bad? Is it the writer, the artist, or the editor? But he broke down the artist, or what the artist can add: the rain, the rats running across the thing. Batman standing on the direction is Batman standing on the ledge, and the artist kind of adds to that. It's like, really got to rethink the way I do panels. Thanks, Arthur.
Here's one from Warren Ellis, right? So he gets a lot of credit for creating in the Authority like a cinematic look to comic book pages, right? And I think the artist was Brian Hitch. I might be wrong, but that artist, he created this huge scene, this huge space battle, the superheroes flying up, huge alien warships coming out, and they were like, and they asked Warren, they said, "How did you write that scene?" He said, "Listen, I wrote aliens attack, bro."
I wrote aliens attack.
Right.
I mean, think about one of my favorite pairings in all of his comic book history is Jim Lee and Jack Kirby, right?
Have a good night.
I mean, that's how do we get Silver Surfer? Because Jack thought that, hey, something else needs to be in that panel, and so he draws this guy, and then it turns out to be, they write a character for it. Well, it's cool.
Well, Jack came, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Jack came, Stan's like, who is this? And he's like, well, if you got this big old guy going to eat all these planets, you need some kind of herald or something to go before him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
he's a scout.
It was almost, the idea came from a necessity for the storytelling.
Right.
I love that stuff. But as far as like
to the story, go ahead, Lou.
I think when I get blocked, I'm stuck on something, I like to have a conversation with a writer or an editor that I trust. It's like, hey, I'm running through this, because I'll run into that. There's a few things, as I'm writing a story, that they're not necessarily non-consequential, but they're not
they're not obsolete either,
or a pinpoint. Yeah, they're not a pinpoint that I put in. So it's like, well, I could go 2 or 3 different ways with this, and I'll run that by somebody to ask them, like, well, which one do you think is most interesting? And I'll workshop that with someone that I like the way they think. I like their writing. I like their creative mind. And that usually gets us to a point that I'm really happy in the story. I did that with the whole idea of the necromancer character. I was going to do it one way, and I was like, how do I introduce this character? And somebody was like, well, what if it was this person that just got killed in the last script? I'm like, what? It's like, what if that's the necromancer? And now it's a dead person, but you've got to try to resurrect the person that does the resurrecting. I'm like,
Right.
holy crap, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So I followed my culture and I took it.
And you took that bastard.
It's
and
mine.
You wore it. It's that Jane's with addiction song. It's
Yeah.
mine. You guys, yeah, you know.
I was like one of them monkeys that puts their butts on things to claim it. I put my butt on it.
Just drag your butt across it. It's yours. This is mine.
What?
This is mine now.
Rub it on my butt cheeks. It's now mine.
This is mine now. Yeah.
That inspires a lot of ideas, but I don't think they're all good.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah.
No, I mean, like
You
you
feel me?
said, it's some writers. You know, there's some good writing. There's some poor writing. To the poor writers out there, keep going. All right,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say keep going because at
Hire an
once
editor.
upon a time, hire an editor, maybe two. Once upon a time, I sucked. All right,
Yeah.
because let's keep it real. You know, once upon a time when I started writing, I didn't go to school to learn, you know, creative writing or all this other type of horse mess. You know what I mean? Like I tell you how I learned how to write and where I said, okay, but get all these inspirations. We love Rod Serling, the way he tells stories. We love Alfred Hitchcock. We love all this stuff. But how the heck am I going to create my own story? I'm like, I want to write. Like, okay, so I pause the TV, satellite, kids. And then we pause the satellite TV, and then you'll see stuff that you used to watch before. You throw the closed caption on. Now you're trying to compare the images to the closed caption. You're saying, well, how do I convey happy in words? How do I convey sad or depressed or angry in words? You know what I mean? Like there's this phrase, you know, a picture says 1,000 words. Okay, well, I was saying, well, how the hell do I interpret this picture into 1,000 words? So I was teaching myself how to do that. And I'm still learning into the writing process. Like long form writing, I don't know, it's insane. You have to be really insane to sit there for hours and just stare at a freaking white page or dark if you're in dark mode at your word processor and just write words. You have to be crazy. No, I'm being serious. You got to be crazy to try to come up with every dynamic of the world, every character's disposition, their expression, where they're going, what they're doing, if that's part of the story. But what I learned along the way is the broader appreciation for different art mediums, how they express the same thing that I'm learning how to do in words. People are doing, you know, in video games. I don't know how to do that stuff. People are doing that, you know, in board games. I'm like, wow, how do you do that? And how do illustrators do it? How does this happen? I still don't know how people draw. You guys, I can barely draw a circle. I'm just saying. But, you know, after all that school, you know what I mean? They put me through trigonometry. I was just like, is this right? Is this the perfect circumference, Professor? You know what I mean? Still can't get a right circle. But my point being is that by learning from other people, like Luke was saying, you pitch that at somebody that you've got respect for or you like what they're doing. And I'll throw it at a musician or something. I'll throw the idea at them because they're I don't know, maybe they're on shrooms. I don't know. But then they'll come back. They'll come back with an idea. I'm just like, that's great. Thank you.
That might take a different turn than I want to speak about tonight. I'm kind of looking at natural ideas. You know?
I mean, hey, natural, natural or influence. I didn't say go take shrooms to get inspiration, kids.
He said,
disclaimer.
Go talk to someone that takes shrooms.
Bingo.
There's a big difference there.
That's a huge
Stone,
difference.
I got your back.
I appreciate you, Luke.
True.
Right here.
The stones have to stick together. Yes.
We're like mirror images here.
Well, we are.
He starts with stone, I end with it.
Exactly.
Look at that. I'll be damned. Look at that.
Gosh, I just see
it's the outer limits.
Top show, Stone and Stone.
Yep.
I'm the emu,
Stone
though.
Square.
I want to be the emu.
The emu.
You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Not the
Liberty
push me,
Mutual.
pull you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not the push me pull you.
I hate
know
those commercials. Those guys need better editors.
they do. They do. I agree.
No, maybe so, but you remember them. So this is.
I don't remember them. All I remember about them is that they suck and I hate them.
Sometimes that's even.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual.
To me, it feels like the latest
Blew
one
that
of X-Men.
sponsorship.
Copyright.
Well, I have a general rule on YouTube anyway. Any commercial that pops up, I automatically never use their service.
Yeah.
No,
None.
it's not good. It's not
They
good.
Ray,
they
have
piss
a good
me off.
night.
I just want to see the video. I don't want to see 3 commercials or 2 commercials.
Thank you.
and sit there forever waiting for that skip button to come up to hit. Yeah.
Yep.
5
Just
seconds.
idiotic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get you, Randy.
Unless it's a trailer for a movie that I want to see. So
Yeah, outside
then
of
I'll let
that,
it run. Yeah.
outside of that, there's
But maybe
these
the
guys
full
that want-
commercial, maybe one out of every 150 or 200 or so, I'll actually let run all the way through because I'm interested. But other
Right.
than that, I'm watching that little box down in the lower right corner until the skip button pops up so I can hit it.
I don't
I,
even remember.
I count it down.
I'm just-
5, 4, 3, 1. Hit the button.
What's
Like a
crazy
producer.
about that
Oh,
now
on the-
is now they're showing actual episodes during these.
Yeah.
I actually watched one like a sitcom pilot. That
Okay,
was just
okay.
an ad in the middle of video. I think the video
Michael,
was like 5 minutes.
what happened for you to watch that? Like, what happened? Like,
Boredom.
were you having a moment? Boredom?
No
Are you sure?
inspiration. Yeah.
Well, you see, he was tripping
Virtue.
on acid.
You okay? All right.
He was doing the mushrooms. Yeah.
There you go.
That was the shroom
No,
time. Yeah.
see, I don't do shrooms anymore. But however, there are flashbacks.
He's having a flashback. There you
Because
go.
I heard they had a lot of calories, and I have a cholesterol problem, so I've switched from
you know,
shrooms to meth. So
Not the same thing. Not the same thing.
And your cholesterol, the bad cholesterol is going down. The good cholesterol is going up. You know,
cholesterol.
it's good cholesterol.
Of course, me myself, I prefer crack.
Yeah.
And with that,
I'm a cocaine proponent.
Speaking of bad
okay,
ideas.
Michael. All right. Fine, Michael. Let's get back
speaking
on
of
track.
bad ideas,
Yeah, I think we might get back to comics or something.
Hey, we're just having fun, right?
we're way outside the
Crack and
podcast.
comics.
Crack and comics. Man. Luke, you
I
spent
love it.
way too much time on good drugs, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stephen King has made this statement before that somebody asked him if he carries a notebook around to write down his ideas.
Who?
Stephen King.
Who? That guy?
Who's that? Can you explain that? I don't know that guy.
Some guy from the
Can
States.
you
Anyway.
Read out his autobiography, please.
Shut
That's the
up,
whole
you know
thing.
who that guy
Yeah.
is. Everybody knows who that guy is. He has great ideas, can't write an ending.
If you need to know who
Yeah,
he
wait.
is, it's StevenKing.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a whole story behind that. But anyway, besides the point, I'm not worried about who said it. I'm worried about the comment he made. He said he doesn't carry a notebook around to write down ideas because that's basically just keeping a library of bad ideas. So do you find that true? Anyone? JD?
I mean, I don't look. I write. You know what I mean? I do carry around a notebook, but not for ideas. I carry a book to write. You know what I mean? I'm just writing. I don't. An idea is going to come to you, going to go, and there's so many of them. It's just like, I mean, in any given day, I could come up with 14 plots, right?
Yeah.
If I forget them, they weren't worth remembering,
That's it. Yeah.
right?
I think that was the
So-
point. Yeah.
Yeah, if I remember them, I remember them. I keep them, and they'll get adapted and pushed into a story at some point, and that's it. So so I don't think he's wrong.
Right.
You know?
One time after a show, I had dinner with a group of the guests, and it was like Tom Savini, Gunnar Hansen, Angus Scrimm. It was a horror show, and Douglas Bradley was there. Even though we were at a Mexican restaurant, Douglas Bradley had no idea what a chimichanga was, which is funny because Douglas is English, and Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface, had to tell him what was in a chimichanga. I thought that was
hilarious.
one of the high points of the night. But Douglas had this story. He's best friends with Clive Barker, and him and Clive would go out for long walks, and they'll be talking, as they're out walking, and Douglas will start talking to him, and all of a sudden he looks, and Clive is like 3 or 4 steps behind him. He's got a small spiral notebook that he kept in his pocket, and he would take the spiral notebook out and start writing.
Yeah.
Like flip, writing, flip, and Douglas would go back to him and patiently wait until he was done, and then Clive would shut the notebook, stick it back in his pocket, and respond back to him directly to the conversation that Douglas was talking about before Clive started writing. He said it was
He's kind of enters his own world
said
and
it was
comes out.
the ookiest thing he'd ever seen, but he got used to it real quick. But that's how inspiration hits people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if you carry that notebook and you sit there and flip, 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 and then put it back in your pocket and go back to your conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, he was probably writing like a scene. It wasn't even like,
Who knows what it was? Could have been a snippet, could have been an entire short story idea. You never know.
Exactly.
You never know.
Dialogue, a whole conversation. Well, I think it works differently for everybody. I don't think
it does.
You can't really pinpoint it to one person or one
or even one method most of the time. There's a classic story about Isaac Asimov keeping 6 typewriters going at one time with 6 different stories on it.
God,
right.
Crazy.
Whether it was a full novel, an autobiography, or nonfiction story, or a short story, or whatever, he jumped from one typewriter to the next when he went dry. Yeah.
Yep.
Just move over to the next one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That's insane.
I know. That's insane. Yeah, Asimov was insane. That's what I was trying to tell you guys earlier in the broadcast.
Well,
you have to be insane.
A lot of these creators are off kilter, and if they're not, they're drinking a lot or doing a lot of drugs.
Like
a lot of times, a creative mind needs that calming effect in order to stay focused.
To see,
nowadays they just have ADHD drugs.
Yeah,
well,
you miss out on half of the fun and the drunken rages. So. Just think of what Hemingway would have been like if they had ADHD drugs or antidepressants.
Oh no! What would have happened to
half of the literature class? Oh yeah, especially Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh golly, yeah. Well,
gosh,
it makes you wonder how much. Maybe that's why we're looking at the drought that we do see in mainstream media, writing and everything, and entertainment, is because there is ADHD drugs, and that pain of expressing yourself isn't as prominent as it used to be.
That and an overabundance of nepotism. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead, Luke. Were you gonna pick up? Oh, okay. I was just gonna add to that statement from Stephen King is that no, I don't. I never felt the affinity to carry around a notebook, and if I did, it was going to be notebooks plural because either I was taking classes or I was teaching classes. So that's really the only time I physically had notebooks on my person. But in terms of me learning how to write, in literature, what I did was, it's like JD said, if you had an idea, it would stick with you because it was something that popped out from somewhere. Now it's a part of you. You know what I'm saying? And you just can't wait to get back to either your notebook or your word processor and get that jotted down. And I found that to be true, even if as I was matriculating through my PhD classes. I'm sitting there through, I don't know, we're learning Runge CUDA methods in, I don't know, Fortran. And don't ever learn Fortran, kids, okay? It's not worth it. And then I'm thinking about, but you're thinking about, I said, well, while we're doing this stuff procedure-wise, I'm thinking about, how does this influence the day-to-day life of one of my characters that's a supernatural genius? Her name's Natalia Artemis. And I'm thinking about, well, is this what she's doing to try to figure out what sort of powers my main character, Commander Samisu? You know what I mean? And it comes up like that. I was like, let's go home and write it and see, by the time we get home at 9:30, let's just spend 15 minutes and see if it's a good idea. And then wouldn't you know it, 3 chapters came out of that. Yeah. And I didn't even write anything down from it. So it depends on the person, but I will say this, an addendum, that over the years, I have, like on this 3 terabyte, whatever, there's years of notes of stories that I've had that I haven't pieced together. Journey of the Shadows is just like 1 of 10 or whatever that I said, well, let's just go with this one because I think it's really freaking cool. You may not think it's a good idea at the time, but keep it. You never know where you're going to need to use it somewhere else. It's your idea. Have it.
Or you never know. You merge it into another one.
Yeah. Jason Moore.
Jason backs me up. He was there at the dinner. I totally remember Doug Bradley telling that story at dinner, Randy. I also remember how crazy it was to have Leatherface telling Pinhead what a chimichanga was, and that was an amazing night. We have pictures. It was a great night. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Very memorable. Sure. Tom Savini was there with his young daughter and she was able to pull her lip out and like put it at the front of her nose and look like an anime character. Get her eyes real big. She'd poke up over the table. It's the most hilarious thing you ever seen.
Can we
It was a good
share
night.
those pictures? Yeah, that's wholesome content.
We have a group
We
of
would love-
a group picture of all of us standing. Jason's got it over on his Facebook page.
Oh, he does. Okay, Jason will be.
But it was a
painted
rare night. It was the tall man from, Angus Scrim from, I don't remember. It's the movie with the silver ball.
with the silver ball.
Yeah.
Oh, Phantasm.
Phantasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Phantasm.
tall man from Phantasm. Douglas
Yeah.
Bradley, who was Pinhead. Gunnar Hansen, who was Leatherface. Tom Savini, who was in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Dust Till Dawn.
The editor for Fangoria was there. Jason and I were there. A couple of other of our friends were there, all on a large table having Mexican food.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Well, let me go ahead and play this bump real quick, and we'll come back and talk about recognizing a bad idea.
Bump it.
Okay, bump it.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
All right.
All right.
So, recognizing a bad idea. And one thing I always tell my kids is you can't be afraid to tell people your ideas, even though they sound ridiculous. I said, you've got to think there's a couple of guys that made $60 million from having a bunch of turtles learn how to do ninjutsu. Can you imagine trying to pitch that?
From a rat.
From a rat.
From a rat.
From a rat.
Okay.
So so how do you recognize when you have a bad idea? I mean, that's pretty far out there.
That wasn't really a bad idea, and honestly, it was a
No,
takeoff of Daredevil at the time because
was,
Daredevil
yeah.
was the rage. Frank Miller's Daredevil was running real hot at that moment. That's why they had the ooze, the green ooze, was the barrels that hit Matt Murdock and gave him radar senses. But that's not necessarily a bad idea. Some of the best comics are the ones that you get that blank look on somebody's face that when you go to describe it to them, kind of like telling somebody who had never seen it before what curling was all about.
Yeah.
You know, I used to
Curling's
love
amazing.
I used to love DC's Atomic Knights like that. Well, it's after the apocalypse, and you got these guys who find these Victorian suits of armor that reflect radiation, and then they find these incredibly large mutated Dalmatians the size of horses that they go riding around on, and then they try to put civilization back together.
That's
I have
far.
never heard of that, and I've got to read this.
Oh,
Atomic
it was a phenomenal series out of DC. It was in one of their science fiction, like Strange Adventures, something like that.
My God.
But it was just an amazing strip. It's those kind of strips, though, that make comics. You sit there and you try to describe even Silver Surfer to somebody who's never seen him before. Or who is it? The Black Rider, and I might have that name wrong. There's a character in New Gods who goes around and collects the souls of the gods.
Right.
And he comes out of a comatose guy in a hospital, and it's a dude in a suit of armor flying with skis.
Yeah.
What a
And
great...
he has the poles and everything.
That's great.
Yeah, and the ski poles and all. Yeah, that's how
he
went
had
through the
everything.
air.
He was skiing.
What an
around, collecting
amazing
souls.
sense of imagination from a guy who was probably pressing late 60s, early 70s in his life.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just all the New Gods, all the Fourth World stuff is just unbelievable. When you sit there and look at that. And again, you try to describe it to somebody and they're like, what? There's an escape artist with a yellow and red mask who runs around with this large Amazonian woman who's hot. You know?
Yeah.
Great
And
stuff.
that's my point. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't calling Ninja Turtles a bad idea, but my point being is it's really hard to convey those type of ideas sometimes, where how it sounds to somebody else.
In Hollywood, they would call that high concept or no money makers. So,
right.
Well, here's what I don't think there are bad ideas. I think there's bad execution.
Yeah.
There's a bell.
Yeah.
Because you could have, you can have the idea for the turtles, but if you don't execute that right, it's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. Or you execute it well, and it's the phenomenon that it is.
Right.
Yeah, Neil Adams, the quote I remember for him is, "It's not the character, it's what you do with the character."
Yeah.
You know, case in point for me always is Swamp Thing, the muck monster, right? And then you think of Swamp Thing, like who the hell would want to do anything with that character? Go read Alan Moore stuff, and you'll be like, whoa, somebody did something with that character. You know,
I love Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing's one of my favorite characters because he's so well written.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So
but
well
conceptually, you think
Some of the
muck
time.
monster, you're like,
Some of the time.
What? Yeah. Because concept, like you said, JD, conceptually.
Yeah.
You know, if someone took that
Conceptually,
at face value, they'll be like, "What? Why are you out of your mind? No one's interested in a Swamp Thing with goop and all this. What the hell's wrong with you?" You know. What I mean?
And again, Swamp Thing is a redo of an idea from the Heap that was out in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Swamp Monster, and that's really the Swamp Monster is kind of a horror trope that goes back in film, you know, even farther than that.
Right.
Sometimes really good ideas are birthed from other people's really bad ideas.
Well, that's
Right.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I was going to say Spider-Man, but that's when I'll piggyback off what Michael was saying earlier. That you informed your children, hey, don't be afraid to relate your ideas. You know what I mean? Because and this goes right back to what we were saying about that idea of collaboration. If it's someone that you know what I mean, or you like bouncing ideas off of them, etc., then don't be afraid to say, okay, you know, first of all, don't shoot yourself in the foot and say, well, this is a bad idea. Don't do that. Give yourself not even the benefit of the doubt. Give yourself the I don't know how do you say it, but just give yourself
benefit of the doubt.
but just tell yourself there's some value in this idea that I have, and present it to someone. And you don't put a label and say, well, this is good idea, good or bad. This is the idea that I have.
Yeah.
And you know, if you relate that to somebody else, to say, well, hey, have you thought about this? And then it just keeps going, right? There's where it starts to get birthed. You know what I mean? You start to see this execution play out, right? Some people can, you know, do this well on their own, but now we see in our society, it's, you know, it's fabricated to, you know, rape the human being of creativity through drugs or indoctrination or what have you, or a so-called education system. Don't get me started. But nowadays, you see this generation of people afraid to even start. They're afraid to even, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you guys how many people are in my DM. How many kids, I call them kids now. I'm only 35, but my God, we have these teenagers and whatever, that they see what I'm doing, and they see that I'm a writer, et cetera, and just like, how did you do this? They'll start with how. And they'll be like, well, I've got this idea, and I'm not sure. And there's so much doubt in themselves, they don't even get themselves a chance.
That's when you look at them and go, haven't you seen Harry Potter?
Haven't you seen Harry Potter?
And they sit there and say, yeah, I've seen Harry Potter. It says, it's magic. And then turn around and walk away.
Just walk away real fast. Speed walk. You speed walk away from them. So, and in my conclusion about whether or not it's a bad idea, it's not necessarily that in its fruition. You know, what's that they say about the court of law or whatever? You're not guilty until proven whatever.
Yeah.
I might have got that mixed up.
Until proven guilty.
Yeah, guilty until proven guilty. But give yourself a chance and get your idea out. But don't shoot yourself in the foot saying, well, this is not going to go anywhere, because then you're blocking those vestiges of inspiration. Right. You know what I mean? You're blocking your ability to see things that you didn't see 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks before that you know, now you otherwise would have seen, because now you've got this predisposition about, oh, well, no one's going to like this in the first place. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't care if you're an illustrator, musician, a writer, or whatever the hell you are. Don't do that to yourself.
You really literally have to go out and do it.
I'm going to be really fair.
Period. Because you never know. Well, look at Harvey Pekar. There's a prime example. Who in the world would have thought that anybody would want to read about his life? And that's exactly why he did what he did, because he had the most boring life possible.
It's American Splendor, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I sat on the hybrid story that I got for a long time.
Like a monkey?
Like a monkey. I sat right on that thing. Rubbing my butt all over it. But I sat on that thing. I sat on that thing for a long time. And then finally, I had pitched it, and the group of guys I was working with, they said, hey, we need a superhero book. Why don't you do an issue of that? And I was like, I don't want to do an issue. No one's going to like this. Who's going to like it? You got to be a theology nerd and a conspiracy theory nerd and all that kind of stuff to want this thing.
Yeah.
So I wrote a first issue thinking no one's going to like this. And it became more popular than the book that was my main title. And now I'm 8 issues in, and you know, it's become its own little beast that I got to keep feeding it, you know. And it's that's one of those things where it's like, just do it, like you said, just do it. I kind of feel like Shia LaBeouf. Do it, just do it, do it.
I created a superhero team to prove a point.
Do it.
In a book that I was criticizing the comic industry of, and it was all females. And I called it Battle Chicks, knowing that term was offensive.
Yeah.
And had like one of every type of female in the book. I did it as a joke, and the characters are discussing whether or not they should print it. And the sane one kept going, it's a boob book. We don't want to do this. There's so many boob books that are out there. And the other guy's going, yeah, it was hot. It's hot. Well, anyway, 4 or 5 years later, I get a call from a company out of Minneapolis and says, hey, I picked up your book and I read that superhero team. You ever want to do anything with that? Let me know, because I'll print it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what I thought was an insulting, horrible, bad
offensive,
idea.
horrible. Yeah.
Was a hot seller to this.
There you go. Yeah.
There it is.
You know,
That's a lot of alternative covers.
Yeah. I did say there was.
I did work up a treatment, and surprisingly enough, a few months later, Antarctic Press did a book called Battle Girls, but it wasn't really exactly what I had written. But anyway,
Yeah.
I will say, okay, so I said there's
Like
no
a
bad
monkey.
ideas. It's just bad execution. But let me tell you this. Whenever you try to inject what is popular in the culture at the moment politically, that usually is a bad idea.
That is.
Because it dates it, and it limits its reach.
Correct.
It limits its reach. And
Stop it, writers. Stop it.
And
very few products
years,
you do that are evergreen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Well, it's, and a lot of people call it the go woke go broke thing, where they're trying to, and it's like, I'm like, it's one of those things where, but you can tell. I'm reminded of a Spider-Man story back in the, I think, late 90s, early 2000s, where they're trying, it's an anti-smoking ad, is basically what it is. The whole thing is an anti-smoking ad, and it's so preachy, and it's so lame. And I'm like, okay, you gotta.
We're talking about Reefer Madness.
No, that's a movie.
That's a movie. Okay, it was an ad.
No.
Yeah, that's a movie.
Yeah, I know. There's a Spider-Man book,
it's a
storyline,
Spider-Man book.
and it was
The storyline
one
is
of his,
nothing but.
one of his friends was smoking and making bad choices and all kinds of stuff like that. And it was just so. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so lame.
It was a dare advertisement.
They also used to have an electric company comic that had Spider-Man that was featured in it, trying to teach kids how to read. So.
Yeah, it's whenever you're trying to preach to the audience, it's not organic, and it's like, come on.
That brings us around to the Hostess Pie commercials, or the Hostess Pie ads. Used to be out. That was all propaganda. Eat pies, kids.
Eat pies. Oh,
There's a great one out there with Hulk that I think he kills a couple, rolls people up in concrete and does all sorts of sadistic things.
Yeah,
also that you can eat pies.
Yeah, that was on the back of the comics. Yeah, that was
it's like Little Orphan Annie and Ovaltine.
Yeah,
Ovaltine. Yeah.
It's like, get your decoder pen. Don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. It's like, come on.
Drink your Ovaltine. Get off my. No, come on.
Well, they have Winston cigarette commercials with the Flintstones. Now that you can find them on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Some of the stuff that people try to do today, I even kind of liken it to the propaganda stuff about Jewish people that the Nazis put out. You know, trying to be like, here's these cartoons, and they always would draw Jewish people like, derogatorily and stuff like that.
Well, again, you can go back in American comics and find the exact same thing about any cultural minority out there. Everything starts out with a really bad stereotype. As far as comics go, you can't escape it.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is point at it and learn from it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, let's not do that
That's
again.
probably a bad
Let's not do that again. Like, please.
Yeah. And I
right,
think we can
good.
see that now, even in modern comics, where they're, they're preaching some ideology.
Oh yeah, 25 years from now, some of those books might actually be collectible because they are so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's almost laughable in some cases,
Yeah.
because it's clear that they are trying to say something that is not organic to the story. They're
Correct.
trying to use popular characters to make their point, and it's
And that's
so
it's just
bad.
baseline propaganda. Like
Yeah,
if you're
it's
trying
so
to use
bad.
a medium to communicate your
Yeah.
ideology, that's propaganda.
So I think that is a bad idea if that's what
Yeah.
you're trying to do. Like, I want people to, understand the good points of veganism, so I'm going to make a comic book about it. Don't do that.
Don't do
Star
that.
Wars.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Make a
Don't
comic
do
book
that.
because you really, really want to, or you've got
Make
a
a good
story to
story.
tell. Yeah,
Right.
not because
Just
you're
make a
trying
good
to-
story.
Yeah.
That's correct, Luke.
That ties back to the old Spider-Man slogan: "With great power comes great responsibility."
Right.
And a lot of these people don't realize the power that they're wielding, or they do realize it and they want to wield it in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they realize how they can manipulate other people with that particular power.
A
So
lot of folks have come to the conclusion that they're in the business on purpose in order to tear down the business, because they see it as primarily toxic masculinity.
Oh, I love that phrase. I love it. Michael,
That's why they go through and try to cuckold a lot of the macho characters.
Characters, yeah.
Yeah.
They bound and gag them. We're talking about some
And
other
granted-
type of BDSM kids.
And granted, there was a period in comics. You go back and you look at the early Image stuff and the stuff from the 70s and 80s, where you had scantily clad females and scantily clad males that were completely cut and buff and going out there and doing the barbarian thing. But
chopping heads off, man.
yeah, but back then that was the market that they were aiming at, and that's the product that they made because it made money. Nowadays, they make exactly the opposite type of product, and they make no money, and they don't care.
Right.
No.
Right.
It's
And they don't even care to stretch that to stretch out to an audience that might want to buy that product.
Nope.
Which might be out there. I don't know. They haven't.
You'd be surprised what sort of audiences.
They'd rather send propaganda books to the libraries and make them buy it because of some, the character's diverse or ethnic or says a statement that they think all the libraries should carry.
Yeah.
Or they ban it.
Or they ban it.
Or they ban it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or they ban it.
Because they
Well, I
can't
think
understand it.
A good idea is to let them do what they do, and maybe push others to independent books like the one we're about to show you here.
Yeah, but they're under the theory also that if
Nice
they do it
segue.
often enough, they'll bend the mind of the person reading the book. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Listen to those
they learned a long time ago the best influence is to influence children. So.
I know those books. Those are good books.
Those are great
let's
books.
take a look at. We can
Yes,
make a
those
video.
are incredible books.
I like those books.
Is there a video? There's a
There is a
video.
video. It was a good idea to put this
Okay,
video
all right.
on. Let's watch
Let me get the popcorn. Hold on, Michael.
I hope this works. Cause,
Give me 8 minutes. I need to prepare the popcorn.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Ready.
Go
Let's
for
get
it.
Throw some Viagra on it. Let it grow. Can it get bigger?
Let's see.
Can it get
My
bigger?
gosh. There's a lot of innuendo in this room.
Serious.
Oh, not. I mean, it's after 8. Now my
Oh,
brain's
four.
like. Is there sound to this video, Michael?
There
I
should
don't
be.
think
Is there
so.
sound?
I don't hear any sound.
You need to check a box
Yeah.
in order to get sound on there. Look at that.
So see that you're interneting, Randy. I got a story about a guy named
Hey,
Randy.
I have
like,
sound.
You have sound? Okay. I can't hear a darn thing.
No, there's no sound there.
Yeah.
Huh.
No.
Put the Viagra back on it, so we can see it.
Well, there's some pretty pictures. I have no idea. All
But
right.
there's and the Figaro, D Fish, JD. Oh yeah, the long shots. You should
I don't know
damn
if you noticed something
Is it
else.
Figaro or Figaro?
Figaro.
I thought
Figaro.
Figaro.
Figaro. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've heard
I
a few
don't
people
know
call
why
him
it
Figaro.
doesn't have any sound.
I'm like, Figaro?
I could hear it.
Figaro.
Who the heck is Figaro? I don't know that
That's
guy.
just
I don't know that freaking guy.
Before you share that video, down in the lower right-hand corner, there's a box that says share system audio.
It's on the box on where?
When
Bottom
you go
right
to
hand.
choose what to share, your choose what to share screen,
Okay.
down in the lower right, there is a box that says share system audio right next to it.
I mean, I don't mean to throw
It's
you
right
under the
opposite
bus.
of the share and cancel button.
I don't mean to throw you under the bus, C, but if you're going to host a show, you should probably learn this crap.
Hey, look, I was supposed to have a producer on this show, and I don't know if you noticed, she's not here. But I'm not going to say anything.
How did you scare off your producer, sir? What did you do?
She said I could handle it.
She has to watch the kids.
No.
Either that or talk to Daphne. One of the other.
Sexual harassment.
Sexual
happened.
harassment.
What
Sexual
about the subject? I'll tell you what. I'm going to be a good host and get this back on. So, what is the long shot? What titles are we looking at, guys?
Go big.
Those
go
titles
home.
right there.
Those titles right there.
7 careers, 9
They're all
hits,
number
one big
ones.
They're all
Herobot
number
Zero. Yeah. Wellkeeper, Hybrids, Only Death Can Save Us, Oswald Chronicles, God's Head, God's Hand. Excuse me.
God's hand.
God's
Yeah.
head.
What is that? The Infiltrator?
Interceptor.
Interceptor. Sorry, JD Rosario. The Interceptor and Revolt, which is an anthology book.
Yep.
All right. So this is part of a deal gone bad, we'll say.
Ooh.
And of course, these guys have got these books, and they need to make money off of these books. And you need to read these books. So let's talk about who's got skin in the game. And JD, why don't we talk about what you got for us, waiting for us in this deal?
Oh, there's Tall Tales in there too. Where's that? Oh, that's up
Yeah,
in there.
Tall Tales in there.
Yeah.
So
Tall Tales.
we have issue 1 of Tall Tales, and we have issue 1 of the Oswald Chronicles, and we have issue 1 of Wellkeeper. So all 3 books. Oswald Chronicles been around for a little bit. My story of a mystical mouse running through his life. Lives in New York City, travels to multiple dimensions, and multiple phases of reality. Let's just say. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of weird, high concept, goofy stuff. It's the sort of thing I enjoy. But here's the incredible thing about that book. Most of the books I produce are in black and white. That book is in color. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So that's kind of
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
And then we have from D-Fish, we have The Wellkeeper, issue 1. Fantastic book. Beautifully, wonderfully illustrated. It's black and white, but her pen work is incredible. The same thing with Tall Tales. It's a one-shot. Well, actually, it's part 1 of a 2-parter, but it's a story that leads into like the greater story that's in Tall Tales about Gabriel and how he finds a sword and brings it to Ravenwood and so all this craziness. But yeah, there's some like I said, some really good books, a lot of good intro stuff. The Oswald Chronicles is a one-shot, so that's actually really good. So.
All right. And of course,
Love
in its
it.
color, that's exciting.
Yes.
Very much so. So get to see him in all his brown glory. So.
Yes. Well, if you want to look.
Uh-oh. That's sneaky.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh.
See that?
So it's
Mm.
Oh,
there,
that's something special.
right?
Look at that.
There you go.
Look how beautiful that book
Right.
is.
I mean, I don't have. I'm not saying I have a boner, but that looks pretty good from here.
Oh, they
I've
are
heard that these
incredibly
books
well
look fantastic.
printed books.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
incredibly
Yeah,
well
yeah.
printed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Tall Tales. Pen and ink. Daphne Lage. Gorgeous looking artwork. This one
So
is
good. So good.
The Wellkeeper by D-Fish. And like I said, her stuff is incredible. Her stuff,
Oh, yeah.
this stuff
Cool.
is just,
Blow that up.
yeah.
Go on.
Can we put some?
I'm going
put
up to
some
a
bag
solo
around it?
layout on that. Whoop. Sorry.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. I mean, if you just look at her pen and ink, I mean, it's just
Gorgeous,
Beautiful.
man. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I have been wanting to read this book, and so now I get the chance to read it. And
JD doesn't know how to turn pages. It's crazy.
No, I don't. I really don't.
Well, that and the paper is so slick. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
it's
it's
slick
slick.
and shiny.
Yeah, that's Tall Tales. And as you can see, even though
More
I edit my work, I don't really edit my work. A lot of work.
Clearly. Clearly.
You edit it, but you don't edit it. So.
Someone likes to talk a lot.
Somebody likes to talk. Yeah, this is true. I like to hear myself talk. You know, this is, here's the Oswald Chronicles. This was in color. So yeah, and what's really nice is in the back of this one, just for Luke, I have a backup story called the Great Turkey Rebellion, which is all prose. It's all work.
Oh, nice. That's good.
The Great Turkey Rebellion.
I think it's genius when people put prose in a comic book, because that's what people that buy comic books want.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, that's why it's in the back. That's why it's all the way in the back.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, here's a bad idea.
Okay.
I worked with a guy once that wanted to do sketch covers, but instead of having a sketch on the cover, he wanted to write a story on the spot for people. So instead of a sketch cover, he would write a story on the blank cover.
Yeah.
And that guy's an idiot. Because that's what people want, is your sloppy handwriting and your unedited work on the cover. That's great.
They really want that.
Yeah. Well, Luke, I hate to break it to you. I did that one already.
You did that?
I did that. But it was prose, and I would write it on the cover. I sold them.
About you.
It could be. I never worked with him. So.
I'm not going to name names, but it rhymed with J.D. Calderon.
but I'll tell you right now, I sold those covers for about $25 a pop.
Dude, there you go.
Exactly,
right.
and I sold
there's
a
no
bunch
shame
of
in that game then, I guess.
The difference between
No shame
you
in
and this
that
other
shit,
guy is you probably didn't copy yours from someone else. Anyway, so let's talk to Randy about what he's doing.
Hey-yo.
I don't have a copy of Hero Bot Zero in front of me, but that's the one up here on the top chair to the far left.
Yeah, right.
There he is. Right there. Hey, look at that.
I'll try to turn the pages better this time.
There we go.
There we go.
And that's the adventures of a 3-foot-tall giant robot who fights monsters and defends his city. And he has a very bad attitude. It's done in a fun, cartoony style. The robot is angry and doesn't want to work unless he's on the clock. He's very tenacious, has every type of weapon on his body that you can dream up. That's part of the fun of the character.
That's awesome.
He's got a buzzsaw mohawk. He's got missiles and beams of light that are laser beams that shoot out of his eyes and off the back of his wrist, and he can detach his fist to go flying at the villain or whatever. He's tenacious in that he just keeps fighting the monster until he figures out how to defeat him.
I love it. Multifaceted.
As long as he's on the clock.
Yes, as long as he's on the clock, and I get that. I get that. I totally get that.
And then I also coordinate Revolt, which is a anthology book with a collection of different short stories, all sorts of, and it's in black and white because most of the artwork in there is like D. Fish's. A lot of it doesn't need color, or it's done in beautiful gray tones.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's just an amazing collection of stories. It's a lot of fun. Wow. And all of them are pretty self-contained. There's Oswald Chronicles right there.
There's the Oswald Chronicles right there. Yeah.
That's a sexy book.
Yeah. I got a boner again. I'm just putting it out there, folks.
There's a Lindy Jack story right
Showing.
there. A Hatch story by Glenn Fleming.
By Glenn,
yeah. Nice. And then in the very back, we introduce a serial called The Adventures of Ginger Star, which is kind of a female John Carter and Flash Gordon rolled into one.
Nice.
If you guys don't know who Flash Gordon is, just do your comic book research.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Just Google it, bro. Or Bing it if you're feeling bold.
Better still, just watch the movie. That's pretty close to Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Flash.
Go, Flash, go. Yeah.
Hero, savior of the universe.
Yeah. And then I also print Russ Leach's book called Only Death Can Save Us.
Why am I taking you off, JD?
And that is an amazing book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness. Look at that.
Leach is
and that focuses around Death, who is the skull-faced character, and Christine, who's a human, as they go through some adventures.
Russ Leach is a friggin' master.
Yes, Russ Leach is amazing.
Gosh. I look at his stuff and I turn green with envy.
And he does crowdfunding for novels. This is the first third of the first book.
I'm like,
And he also did a backup story with it with some artwork that you won't see yet for a few more months until he does issue 2, I believe. Look at that backup art. It's just amazing.
Wow,
Dang.
that's
Awesome.
mind blowing.
it's freaking Russ, freaking Leach right there.
Yeah,
man.
that's Russ.
Yeah,
And Russ has done work for Marvel and DC only over in England. So
It's like
in
him and-
England,
it's like him and Graham Nolan are like
a lot of
two
other,
of my favorite artists.
yeah. His main influences, I think, are Jim Starlin and Gil Kane. So just really classic
damn good.
70s, 80s style type of
Yeah,
storytelling. Is really good.
I could definitely see Gil Kane. Definitely.
And then if we'd have gone into month 2, I had a couple other titles that we were also going to print that I have done that are just amazing, and
I agree. Yeah.
talk about
absolutely.
them.
I have to
You know.
crowdfund them.
Gonna have to crowdfund them.
Gonna make it happen, man.
Yeah,
It's
the
awesome
wife.
stuff.
The wife says one of them's a fantasy book called Calico of Shard, and the wife says I absolutely have to keep doing that. So
Oh yeah. I
well,
heard that.
listen to
It
the
might be
wife.
some of your best work.
she seems to think it is, but she doesn't read a whole lot of my work. So unless
Well,
she's critiquing the spelling. So
I like a wife.
So that's so she's your editor.
she's my
Ish.
proofer. Yes.
Yeah,
Ish.
proofer. Yeah, ish. Yeah, I got
Ish.
you. We'll listen to the wife ish, and we'll get that crowdfunded. Don't worry about
If
that.
she says it's good, it's got to be good.
It's good.
It's got to be great.
Gotta
And
be great.
she's an avid reader. She's read.
Oh, yeah,
She's a big fan of Stephen King, and she reads a lot.
yeah.
Usually, back when we were doing the 3 weeks to flatten the curve, she was reading a book a day,
My wife says she only
a
reads real
paperback
books.
book a day. Usually, Janet Jonovich, I think the writer's name was, reading one a day. We saw Reacher come up on Amazon Prime, and we inherited her mom's collection of paperbacks. So our upstairs is one great big large library. We took 2 truckloads to the local library until they asked us not to bring any more. And then she kept a lot of the series and the bigger authors that she knew or that she wanted to read.
Yeah.
So when Reacher come on Amazon Prime, she goes, I think we've got some of his books upstairs. So she ran upstairs, and yeah, we've got like 15, 16 of them. She hasn't gotten around to reading yet, but she will now after watching Reacher. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was a pretty good series. That's a lot of people.
Oh, it's amazing. It's really good. First episode especially. Sit and watch that first episode and then decide if you're going to watch the rest of it.
Okay, cool.
Because it's a great character. Good character.
So I also want, before we move on to Luke, I want to kind of highlight God's Hand and Interceptor. You have those books, JD?
Well, I don't like those guys. I'm only joking. I love Jay. I love Jay and Anthony. They're great guys. They're great guys.
He's like,
And this is
I
also
don't like
Rusty.
those people.
Some of that's works is Russ's work also, isn't it?
Oh,
Russ
Yeah.
Rich?
This is actually illustrated by Russ. Russ is quick to say. This is probably about 10 years old at this point, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
but
look
this
at
is
that. Yeah.
yeah, but it still looks really good, man. I mean,
Oh, it's awesome
It
stuff.
holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Russ is consistent.
Yes.
There's nothing he does that sucks.
Yeah.
Yep. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the story of this character, he has like some kind of mystical shield, and it's supposed to be like the equivalent of Excalibur. So I don't know. Jay should be here to explain his own damn story. Just for
Well,
Yeah.
he Rosario just got married,
so what? Stop making excuses for the bum.
For the bum.
Look, you see?
Stop
look,
making
when I have you
excuses
on the
for
show
the
later
bum.
on, I want you to know that I hook up for you, man.
Yeah. Stop sucking up, buddy. It's not gonna do anything. He doesn't like anybody anyway.
Doesn't look
JD
good on
says
you,
it's a
man.
bad look. It's a bad look on you,
It
Michael.
doesn't look good on you.
Yeah, it don't look good. So.
No, but Jay's awesome, and this book is really good too. And then if we're gonna look at God's Hand, it's by Anthony Figueroa. I always I hate saying it, but this is an awesome cover. It really is. I love this damn cover. Don't let Anthony know I said that, please.
Okay, I will definitely let him
It's not
know
on
that's
YouTube or
what you
anything.
said.
And here's the thing.
Yeah, it's not
you
like
don't have
that.
to worry about him listening to this.
Oh yeah, this is true. So this is God's Hand. Yeah, no,
Oh,
this is
man.
great stuff, man. I mean,
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Man, this is some phenomenal stuff.
yeah.
And we got, well, wait a minute, this Matt Knowles in the house. What's up, Matt?
What's up, Matt?
How you doing, man?
Oh yeah.
This is man says Stone Abdullah, one of the most interesting men to watch on the live stream. I was literally on another show and had this up muted on the other monitor. He was entertaining the hell out of me. You're welcome.
There you go. That's
You're
God's
welcome.
hand.
God's hand.
Very
All
nice.
of this is
All
part
right.
of all of this is part of the long shots, my friend. That's what's unbelievable.
Mhm.
This is unbelievable. Go big, go home.
We're trying to get Figaro on. It's for us here in Louisiana, it's Mardi Gras, and considering Figaro's from that area,
This is Fat Tuesday.
yep. So
It is.
You know, he's somewhere in the French Quarter right now showing off his breasts. We know
Yeah.
he is.
We know he's got a neck full of beads right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's-
All the
he's-
time.
He's
He's
got a
earning his
punchki in his
beads.
mouth and he's pulling his shirt up as we speak.
That's right now.
yes.
Swear to God, folks.
Covered in beads and beer.
Covered in it.
That's-
Like he's slathered in it.
I've met the man. That's not an image that I'm feeling right now.
No, what are you talking about, JD? You're gonna go to sleep giggling. You're just like titties.
No,
And
that
then
was
you're
I
gonna
was going to keep crying. That was-
After the show, Jay's gonna burn his eyes out with a hot poker.
Oh my God.
You're just like, oh God, I can't get one.
Look, I thought you said he was going to be like a monkey and sit on it.
That's mine. That's not his business, my culture.
Oh
really going
shit.
south. Hey, look.
That's okay. That's
all right,
okay.
it's all right.
It's all right. Anthony knows we all love him and we pick on him
Yeah, we
fondly.
do.
Yeah, we love
Yeah.
love you to death, Anthony.
We don't want to see his breasts.
Love you,
No.
Figaro.
Some people would, but just open up an OnlyFans or something. Or, 69 cents a month. Matt Knowles says, in all seriousness, Randy and Luke, glad to see you guys back on the internet. You are both fortunate to still be around and kicking. Okay, carefully sitting, but still. Okay, but still.
Yeah.
Amen
Thank
to
you,
that.
man.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
what.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be seen, Matt. Thank
It
you
is.
so much.
It's good to be back out doing things and creating again. It's fun.
Yes.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, Mr. Luke Stone,
Yeah.
could you tell us about what you have?
Yeah, I got this
Please,
book called
sir.
Hybrids. It's about a mystical mouse
Nice, nice.
that
damn. Sounds like
fights
a-
giant monsters.
A furry,
While on the
shirtless,
clock.
mystical mouse.
Yeah, it's about a
Shirtless.
mystical mouse that fights
Yes.
monsters while on the clock with voodoo. And he uses a Excalibur
On
type
Fat
shield.
Tuesday. Yes.
Oh man, he rubbed his butt all over that.
On Fat Tuesday.
Wait,
On Fat Tuesday.
no, this is basically your Chris Claremont era X-Men meets Ancient Aliens, man. This is basically
Man,
it's a
I'm not
teen
saying it
comic
was-
with heart.
I'm not saying it was aliens, Luke, but it was aliens.
But it was freaking aliens, man.
It was freaking aliens.
I don't know the
Friggin'
question,
aliens.
but the answer is aliens.
Yeah. So this is this book is several years old. I did go in and remaster about 80% of the book
It's gorgeous.
for this. Thank you very much.
It looks
And,
real
uh,
nice.
Yeah,
Goodness.
I'm real happy with it. I'm pretty excited about the how it turned out, and I'm looking forward to people getting in their hands. Of course, you know I got now 3,000 copies of this dang thing,
Yep.
which
Yeah.
is about 200, which is about 2,500 copies more than I would typically print for a run of a book. But you know, here we are, and but yeah. So in this particular issue, I didn't think that people were really going to get into it so much. So I
Look
wrote
at
this
that.
issue
Love the action
as a
shots.
really cool, kind of a chase scene or whatever. To
Yeah,
look at.
man.
Yep. And then I got a backup story, Rift Riders. Now, this is drawn by Martha Schwartz.
Martha
it's written-
Schwartz. Yeah.
Yeah, it's written by Piper Steed, my editor. And now we are doing that book, but we've signed on a different artist for it, and so we will be releasing that title sometime this year. So excited about that one too.
Awesome.
Now, the
Keep your
cool
eyes
thing
and
also
ears
about
peeled.
this campaign, because we have so many books left over, the big deal is the fact that you can get all 9 of these books for $25.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Where in the
Plus-
hell are you going to
plus
find
shipping.
a better deal?
You're never going to find a better deal than that. Each book has got a $4.99 price tag on it.
Yeah. Well, Stone, you're not going to.
They were meant to be sold to a large retail chain who would rather we not mention who they are, because they're already pretty sensitive about not that they were not involved in the deal, even though we were told they were.
They've gotten a lot of flack because of the
inquiries.
Because of the grift.
Because of the grift.
I guess one lesson to learn from this is if you're going to distribute to a big retailer, you might need to let the retailer know first. So
that would be a good lesson. Yes.
See, you're putting too much thought into this.
That's not outside the box. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Stop thinking, Mike.
All you need to do is sufficiently lie to 7 creators to get 9 books printed.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have 2,500 more than you would typically print of one run of a book.
Yeah.
And then just sit on it like a monkey on a Fat Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like sitting on it.
Praying for beads.
Yeah, praying. Somebody's going to flash it.
Yes. Yeah. All right, and of course, you get your sign-up bonus. Do we know when it's going to launch?
It should be launching here really quick, next couple of days. So you're gonna want to jump over there and sign up now. What?
Marcus told us when they're launching.
The 7th.
Is that when?
The 7th? Okay.
Yeah.
That's
See,
next
I never
Monday,
pay
right?
attention.
Yeah,
that's Monday.
It's next Monday.
Next Monday.
So in less than a week. So you want to go over there and sign up now.
Sign up. Sign up early.
Get that sign up bonus.
In 6 days.
Yeah.
You get the bonus to the poker chip.
The poker chip. Come on.
Yep.
Come on.
We launched in just 6 days.
Sign up and flash us. That's all we were asking for.
That's what Anthony wants.
Yeah, that's what Anthony wants.
Right. We'll have Anthony send you all the flash pictures, Mr. Stone.
Yeah, appreciate it. It may take some time. It may take some time for me to distribute those pictures, but you'll get them in your inbox. Don't worry.
No, I'm sure he'll make a special NFT just for you.
What's the goal for this campaign? Draw and Talk says.
What's the goal? To make our money back.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're talking monetary. I mean, I honestly don't know. Anthony's the one running it, so I don't know what he's set the goal at.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's the books are printed. Obviously, it's ready to ship.
They're printed. They're ready to be shipped. Yes.
Yeah. No crap. These things are ready to go.
So what that means in crowdfunding is there is literally no chance, you're not taking a gamble on getting these books.
You can't express to you how quality these books are. Look at how shiny they are. And if you look really close, you probably can't see it through my camera, but there are 3 staples on this spine.
Whoa, 3 staples?
3 staples.
3 freaking staples.
That's big time.
Every book.
That's big. No, these books really are nice. They're really well printed.
We had them done by a printer who really cared. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just phenomenally done.
A printer who also thought that they were going to be printing a lot of books for that retailer.
Yes.
That's
You want 3 now, but you're going to pick up 14 and a half later? Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Matt Knowles says $1 million.
$1 million. Yeah, I like it.
And of course, if you
let's go for that.
The goal is check it out.
Actually, wasn't the first 6 months was 4 million total? Anyway, never mind.
And of course,
let's sign up.
Yes, sign up now. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah.
Stepping all over you. Sorry.
That's all right. Whatever.
Stepping on him, yeah.
I'm just here.
At least I'm not a monkey.
Oh.
Hey, I like this show. Hey, I like this show. It's mine now.
There you go.
I'm cowboying this thing. It's mine.
It's mine, baby.
But like I said, if you want to know what the goal for the campaign is, check it out on the 7th, guys. It launches Monday. So
I believe the goal is set very low. Because really, we have everything we need to get this out. There's going to be a few extras on some of the higher tiers that we're going to have to print and get ready. But when it comes to these books, they're ready to go. So I believe the goal is very low, just so that we can get these books moving.
And get them into hands of people that might read them. Yeah.
Draw and talk. How do you guys say? It's not an important fact that they don't know the ins and outs. Draw and talk. I don't think we need to, express some condescension.
Let's put it.
There's no need for condescension.
Oh, Tyler, that's a little offhand, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, why do you got to be a jerk in the comments?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal.
I dare you to come
Okay.
talk to me like that to my face.
Wait, hold on.
We're not the ones that are running the campaign, Tyler.
Yeah, we're not running the
campaign's being
Here's the
run
thing,
by
you've got 9 creators.
Anthony.
If you had 9 creators running one campaign at one time, it'd be a mess. You got one guy, they're a capable guy, unlike the capable guy who put this shit together to begin with. So
Amen.
let's not even talk about that. So
Yeah.
if you really want to know all this information, check it out on the 7th. If not, don't, buddy. We don't care.
And I'm running my own campaign, so.
And that's fine. And so I answered your question. Now we have another campaign that we want to show. And guess what? I bet you he does know the ins and outs of this.
I know the ins and outs of this dang thing.
All right.
I bet
Dang
you.
sure.
It's damn straight. Come on.
Dang straight. Yeah, so what I got going on here is Hybrids Book 8, which is part 3 of The Killing Field. And so this is part 3, 1 through 3 of 4. So you can get you can kind of get all these books that were going on there. And my funding goal is $3,000 if you're interested, because I got to pay for some lettering and things like that. But the book is completed. It's ready to go to print. And so this is going to pay for a print run. We've got some metal prints and stuff that's going to be included in this. And we're also doing a very limited run of a 3D printed bronze bust. So very limited. I was going to do more, but ever since COVID and I lost use of my left hand, I can't produce them the way I was before. So it's going to be very, very limited on how many of those we produce. But you can see some of the art in this book. Again, this was art that was completed before my fight with COVID, and so everything in this book is done, ready to go. It is a 28-page book, I believe, with some backup material in it. So it's going to be a total of 32 pages, plus a cover. I do have a cover B by the very talented Nita Diaz. He's also right now in the process of doing a special pinup that's going to feature a couple of the lady characters. That's going to be available on a metal print to people that sign up early, and then we'll get access to a special perk. And so yeah, there's a few things that's going to be added to that. Really looking forward to having this project out. It is like I said, you can get books 1 through 3 of The Killing Field. Plus, there's going to be a very limited number of trade paperbacks that you can get. And also, anybody that signs up for the mailing list, when they sign up for the mailing list, they will get a free copy of the remastered issue 2.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we're going to go ahead and print that off and put that in their package as well. So that's what we got going on there. And that's why I don't know what's going on with the long shots, because I'm still trying to run my own business and recover from COVID. Because, I don't know, Randy and I almost died.
Well,
So,
the issue comes in.
there's that.
Well, just to address the fact of being hostile, per se, you come in and you start questioning somebody on certain things. You have certain tones that you want to bring in.
It's not going to be accepted.
It's going to be the
I don't
proper
take that
response.
stuff anymore.
That's not what this is. That's what this is.
Yeah,
Here's
that's
the
not
thing.
what this is.
Here's the thing, guys. Ever since every day I have now, I look as a bonus day, because they literally called my wife in to the ICU to visit me because they thought I was going to die.
They called my wife for an NDA.
Yeah. See, there you
Or
go.
NDR,
Yeah,
I'm
see?
sorry. Do
An
not
NDR.
resuscitate.
Yeah.
Do
So
not
here it is.
And then
So-
they didn't talk to her for 3 or 4 days afterwards, and she sat by the phone crying, waiting for word. And when the phone did ring and it was them, she thought it was them telling them to come and pick up the body.
Yeah, exactly. So
Thank you very much.
So part of me, when someone slides into a comment and
They want to talk some shit, or
they
whatever.
want
It's
to
a
talk
little
some
smarmy.
yeah. Then I'm like, I don't take.
We don't
that
have
stuff
time.
anymore.
Thank
We
you.
don't have
But
time
this
for
is,
it,
this
man.
I'll
isn't
do
that
it.
kind of show. I'll block
Exactly.
it. I don't care. Bye.
No, this
Exactly.
show is all we
We're
have
here to-
here in this show is we're here to have fun. We're here to share creativity. We're here to share inspiration, and we're here to inspire another generation of people to do the exact same thing.
Back
so
the
all
long
of it-
shots. You're going to get 9 great books for $25, man.
And that's what matters.
That's what you
That's
need to
what
know. That's what we're
That's all you
pushing
need
here.
to know.
Anything
I'm
else that
getting it.
happens is a bonus, man.
In all honesty, you're getting the 9 books for $25. You're not getting the goal anyway. What do you care? That's
So
like-
what?
and that's it.
I'm getting the book.
That's how they go. It's a flexible goal. Hush.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Get out of here. Anyway.
I want to play
Anyway.
the video, Luke. But
Ooh,
I
video.
understand.
Listen, bottom right-hand corner, it says share system sound. I remember what Randy said about it, and I was wondering if you caught on to that, Mike. I don't know.
I heard him, but I'm trying.
You heard him?
The bottom right-hand corner.
Did you see it? Did you see it? Oh, sorry. Matt Knowles. Okay, while you're looking for it, I'll read.
Man.
Matt,
I do appreciate you, Matt.
Guys are truly lucky. My brother had a terminal lung disease, IPF. 2 weeks ago, we got the call in kid's message. Yes, sir. He was gone 34 hours later. God bless his soul. So truly know how lucky you are.
Matt, here's the deal, dude. When I saw that, my heart broke for you, and I've been praying for you.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate you, Matt. I really do. You're a quality guy, and I appreciate you. I really do.
We need more individuals like yourself.
You're good.
Matt.
Yeah,
So
Matt's good people. Go check out his project too right now.
By the way,
he's got a book going right now. And here's the thing, Matt and Steph, they are awesome with the extras. Man,
yes,
they go nuts with the extras.
Boy, they go balls to the walls. They're amazing.
They do.
I love it.
They really do. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh wait a minute. Oh, I see Nita Lanning back there. While Nita hasn't. Yeah, they got the producer. The producer showed up. So while you guys are looking out there in Candyland, I'm going to tell you guys a joke. Why? Oh no, I can't tell that joke now. This is not that type of show. I was going to say why there are no Walmarts in Afghanistan.
I got to know why. Why?
Because there's a okay.
Because there's a
target. Because there's a target on every corner.
Oh my gosh!
I told you it was a bad joke.
Cancel. No, I'm joking.
Cancel. Hit the cancel button. Hit the cancel button. Mike, you were saying? Matt, no, appreciate that.
Matt, of course.
Of course, my brother.
Yeah,
no, I only got audio.
I've lost a brother, man. I feel bad for Matt.
Yeah. Same.
I do.
You said, okay, Michael.
My trainer didn't train me for this part.
Oh,
so
we're blaming the trainer.
See, I'm sorry. I've thrown a lot of shade your way today. No, I'm not sorry, because I've had a lot of fun doing it.
You took the fun,
man. You know what?
Just play the video.
The Caribbean didn't work the first time. Jeez. All right, the video.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's no audio.
There's no audio.
Are you kidding me?
Here's the cool thing. There's no words either. Okay. This is the one without the voiceover.
No audio.
So you could just show the pictures, I guess.
Yeah, just show the pictures.
People can see what we're working with. Oh, I hired another letterer for this book. The very talented Eric Weathers lettered this book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Ragin too. We know who said that. We know who said that.
I'll be there next week because you are fucking my shit up.
You came in here, you pushed buttons, and still no audio.
This is a debut show.
No.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my
the
God!
boss is here.
Oh God!
The boss has showed up.
Oh,
Dear God, the boss is here.
What are we trying to share?
It wasn't me, Nita. I promise I didn't do it.
It wasn't me.
I pushed the button for the audio. It didn't play in the audio.
He smashed the button. It didn't happen.
Yep. What happened?
I smashed a lot of buttons and things.
I don't know. I literally have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah,
90% of the time.
Look, that's what I tell people all the time. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just giving it a try.
Yeah, 90% of the time.
That was my preference at the beginning of this. Even the show had 4 kids.
Now we're getting back. Yeah.
I pretty much fly by the seat of my pants all the time, especially when I'm talking trash to people.
Yes, especially.
You ever going to answer me and tell me what you're trying to pull up here?
We already pulled it up. You can go now. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Did you make it work?
Maybe if you were watching the show. Anyway. You were watching the show.
Nita's about to go get a Switch.
Matt, we are in.
So see, you said you have 4 kids, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I guess that 5th one is definitely not happening now.
I am my own natural childbirth. Child.
God, you made Stone walk away.
God damn it, JD.
That's 100% correct there.
But hey,
Oh, well.
I mean, are we ready to go now? Is that
That is
what we have?
That is what we have.
Okay,
Well, we got-
Mike, roll that
Okay.
beautiful bean footage.
All right.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Anyway,
I swear we're not high.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not high.
They might be.
They might be high. JD, are you high?
I'm
I'm not.
stone sober. Get it?
Stone
Oh,
sober,
stop
Because
it.
there's two. Yeah. It's Nita's birthday, so I'm not going to speak on her behalf.
Well, I mean, yeah, not gonna.
Yeah, I've been drinking since
Sober.
6 o'clock day before yesterday, so we're good.
Good.
Well, because
happy birthday.
because technically, on the other side of the world, her birthday started then.
That's right.
It was 5 o'clock somewhere at 10 o'clock this morning when I was vlogging.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
All right. So anyway, guys, check out the long shots.
Yep.
It's been a hard road. Let's reward these guys by
Support them.
contributing to this campaign and their beautiful books. We're all going to get something out of this. So
Yeah,
let's-
and if you
Absolutely.
buy enough of them, then Randy can have C draw a book.
Yes.
Nice.
And
yeah.
and who doesn't want some of that tasty C art in a
that's
book?
right. Well,
Please.
Say that stuff is
I-
delicious.
And you don't even have to scrape your knees for it. What?
It's so good.
sounds
Speaking
so
of which,
fishy.
we're going to name that mascot you drew for us. Right now, it's between two names.
Okay.
Chris P and Ripley.
Crispy.
And Ripley.
Chris P.
Well, you got to go vote on it then.
God,
We're taking it to the viewer.
We all know it's crispy.
crispy.
It's crispy.
We are
Ripley.
because
It's-
Chris drew it.
It's crispy. Crispy.
All right.
Right now,
Let's-
Ripley's winning.
Let's wrap this up. I gotta pull the reins on this one. I will leave you with our quote for the show for the week. This is dedicated to all our long shots out there, guys.
Yeah.
So good night. Oh wait, before
Oh,
we
wait.
do that, you gotta tell everybody where they're from. Look, you messed up the whole thing.
I told you I like the show. I was taking it. I cowboyed it.
Hey, Luke, Luke, tell us where we can find you, man.
Easy, man. You can go over to lukestonestudios.com. All the relevant links are right over there. I'm also right now running a fan art contest for the Hybrids book. The grand prize winner is going to get $150 Amazon gift card. And then we're going to come up with some prizes for second, third place. So go over there and go to the contact area. You can submit your work there. We're going to be running that through the 28th of March. So we will end on launch day for the book. But yeah, go on over to lukestonestudios.com. You can find all my social media, join the mailing list, and click those links. Find my YouTube, ring the bell, all of that good stuff. So that's me, man.
Yeah, so we got that good nerd bacon.
Nerd bacon.
Nerd.
JD.
Tasty.
You can find me under JD Calderon on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, DeviantArt. You can find me also on theoswaldchronicles.com and talltalesonline.com. And on the 21st, we'll be launching the next Oswald Chronicles campaign. So there's currently a sign-up page, so go check it out.
Be in the show
Coming
notes
up.
after the show.
Yes, and the mouse shall rise again. So there you go. Thank
The
you.
good mouse. The good mouse.
Good mouse. No,
Good mouse.
not that Nazi mouse.
No, that's not. Oh, well, no.
It's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
The other one.
Too late.
Anyway,
Too late.
Sorry.
All the mice and mouse were representative of the Jews anyway.
Yeah, I'm
Or
sorry.
the
guys.
cats
I was-
that were the Nazis.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I like that.
They were catsies.
Cats. Dun 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 dun.
When I said Nazi mouse, I was talking about
There are no cats in America. Okay.
Mickey Mouse. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
Mickey.
okay.
Oh,
That's
it's a Mickey
different.
Mouse. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
different. Randy, where can we find you, my brother?
You can find me on Facebook. You can try to find me on Twitter. I'm not there very often, but Arrow
They can
Comics.
find you at Linktree /Zimcast.
There you go. Yep. You can find Arrow Comics 4.0 at most social platforms and also a link tree. But most of all, you'll find me on these airwaves tomorrow night on the Zimcast. So that starts at 8:30 because we're having a pregame show for a half an hour. We're going to get all of our hostility out in that half an hour and then have a real fun 2-hour show after that.
Love it.
Yeah,
Hostility.
come by and we will threaten you.
Yes.
Okay.
I think my new favorite thing now is
literal violence.
We'll have Anthony and Tyler on at the same time and see how it goes.
Here's the thing.
Wow, that's going to get violent.
No, no, we're not going to.
That would be excellent.
I think one of my favorite things now to do.
Pay-per-view shit there.
Yeah, it is. One of my favorite things to do now is I'm oxygen dependent at the moment, right? And I can barely walk, but I'll still be like, "Come at me, bro." You do not want this cripple kicking your butt. Like,
you don't want this motherfucking cripple.
I will.
Damn it, I'm carrying a cane for a reason.
I'll beat the crap out of you with an arm that doesn't work, and you will walk away feeling like your life is over.
Stone.
Well then,
where can we find you, Stone?
You can find me journeyoftheshadow.com. You can Google me, Bing it. I challenge people to use Microsoft Bing. You can find me Linktree /JOTS20 because it's been 20 years of Journey of the Shadow, my friends. Also, if you missed the Journey of the Shadow Darkness Falls Kickstarter, my friends, not to worry. On my online store, you can get all the pledge rewards. And it's there until March 12th. So, guys, have fun. We're here for the fans. JourneyoftheShadow.com.
All right, and of course, I'm C Michael Lanning, and you can find me at Linktree /C Michael Lanning, Facebook. All the other nice stuff is over there. And of course, right here next week, where we'll be talking about like Twilight Zone and monsters and Tales from the Dark Side, where we'll have some pretty special guests on. So come check that out. And of course, I'd like to dedicate this quote of the week to my long shot guys. Yeah, y'all stand the test of time, guys. Good night.
We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.